está? Happy Sunday. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. If you can't, please make sure you let me know. Please make sure you let me know. but yeah, I'm gonna give people a chance to see that I'm on live. So yeah, I'm gonna just wait a little bit until some people come in the chat. Ooh, I needed that water. Y'all see I'm breaking out. I have eczema. I've been breaking out so bad. And I'm surprised because I usually don't break out in the summer. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've been breaking out on my arms, on my neck. Ugh. If you don't have eczema, consider yourself blessed. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into the message. So today we're going to be talking about how to make sure you don't end up with the wrong person. In my humble opinion, one of the most important decisions you will ever make is the person you do life with, the person you choose to do life with. That's one of the most important decisions you will ever make. And some people don't believe this, but me personally, I believe God has a specific person for each of his children. And I used to not think like that. I used to think you just find somebody that's good enough and you just make it work. But now, me having the awareness that I have, me having the spiritual understanding that I have, I know for a fact, without a shadow of doubt, God has a specific person for each of us. But the sad reality is, most people don't end up with that person. They end up with counterfeits. That's why the divorce rates are so high, because God was not behind those unions. God was not behind those marriages. Even if two people met in church, that doesn't mean God orchestrated those two people to be together. So that's why it's so important to, it frustrates me how lightly people take choosing the person they're going to do life with. It frustrates me because I'm like, yo, that is a life sentence. Marrying somebody and saying I do till death do us part, that's literally a life sentence. It's a spiritual contract. So I just don't be understanding how people take it so lightly. You know what? Actually, I do understand. The reason why people take it so lightly is because I'm trying to adjust the camera, y'all. But the reason why people take it so lightly is because they don't know how to be alone. Most people don't know how to be alone. And it's because subconsciously they don't love themselves. They struggle with their self esteem. They struggle with truly loving and accepting themselves. And that's why subconsciously they feel the need to be attached to somebody to make them feel good about themselves. And the reason why I can say this is because I used to be one of those people. But yeah, now I believe with all my heart, God has a specific person for each of us. Now, here are the four components that you need to look for to make sure the person you're about to choose to do life with is really the person God made for you. There's four components. If God is orchestrating the union, there's four components that are going to be present. Number one, physical attraction. Number two, chemistry. Number three, compatibility. And number four, and this is one of the most important ones, spiritual connection. And I guarantee you, every single marriage that doesn't last, every single marriage that ends up in divorce, I can guarantee you they were missing one of those components. And sometimes they be missing a few of those components. Sometimes people just be having a attraction and a chemistry, but they don't be compatible and they don't be having a spiritual connection. Or sometimes people will just be compatible, but they won't even be physically attracted to their spouse. But I guarantee you, if there's one component missing, I guarantee you it's the spiritual connection because that's the most important component. And if a marriage does not have the spiritual connection, even if it has all of the other three things, attraction, chemistry, compatibility, that's not going to be enough to sustain it. And it's not really sent from God. And here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize good person, a good person doesn't mean they're your person. Just because somebody is a great guy doesn't mean they're your guy. Just because somebody's a great woman doesn't mean that's your woman. Doesn't mean that's the person God specifically designed for you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little passionate, y'all. Oh, but another thing that I wanted to say, another thing, because some people will be like, oh, our great grandparents used to stay together for life, and older generations, they like the divorce rates weren't as high, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean that they were with their person. Because back in the days, people used to just tolerate each other. People used to just get married out of survival. People literally would just get married because it was the right thing to do. Find somebody to get married to and have kids with. A lot of our great grandparents, they wasn't really in love. They settled. And God did not, and don't get me wrong, there are some older generations that really are with their soulmate. My grandparents are the perfect example. But let's be real. Some of these couples that stay married 50, 40, 60, 70 years, that doesn't mean that they were truly with their person. A lot of times they just learn to tolerate each other. That's why you hear them say stuff like, "Oh, you just got to learn to love somebody. You got to just grow to love somebody." Like, "Oh, just the person has to grow on you." No. That's called settling. God does not want us to settle. I don't care what anybody says. That's why. And I'm actually break down each of those four components. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Attraction. This is a very controversial one because for some reason, some believers don't think the person God has for you will be attractive, which is insane to me. You really think out of 8 billion people, the person God has for you is going to be somebody you're not attracted to? Do you understand how crazy that sounds? Because here's the thing, God designed sex to happen within a covenant, within a marriage. So why would he pair you with somebody you're not attracted to? Because guess what? If you're not attracted to them, you're not really going to want to have sex with them. And God wants us to reproduce. But if you're not attracted to them, having sex with them is going to feel like a chore. So if God is behind the union, yes, this will be somebody you're attracted to. And let me be clear, attraction can look different for each person. We're not all going to be attracted to the same things. So it's not about other people finding that person attractive. It's about you finding that person attractive. And if you find that person attractive, God ain't gonna pair you with somebody you don't find attractive. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Number two, chemistry. If you're able to, when you have oh, sorry. Rewind. Let me take a sip of water because my throat is getting dry. Mhm. I'm so anxious. Anytime I do these lives, I'm always so anxious and excited all at the same time. So I'm like, ooh, Kyla, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and calm down. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Chemistry. If God is behind the union, there will be chemistry. The conversations will just flow. It won't feel forced. It won't feel awkward. Even if that person gives you butterflies, even if that person makes you nervous, the conversations are still going to flow. It's going to feel natural. Y'all are going to vibe with each other. You're not going to have to force it. Number three, compatibility. And here's the thing, a lot of people think compatibility just means we have things in common. No, you can have things in common with millions of people. You can have similar interests with millions of people. In fact, you can be compatible with somebody and not have all the same interests. That has nothing to do with compatibility. True compatibility is if y'all are in alignment, if y'all are on the same page as far as how you want to raise your kids, as far as how you want to run your household, your beliefs, your views. If you're truly compatible with somebody, all those things are going to fall into place. But if, let's say, you really don't want to have kids and the other person really want to have kids and the other person really wants to have kids, y'all are not compatible. Y'all are not compatible. I don't care how strongly you feel about this person. If y'all are on two completely different pages with things that are that important, if it's real small things, those can be overlooked. But if it's important things like whether or not y'all want to have kids, that's not your person. The compatibility has to be there. Even like I said, how you want to run your house, the type of food that you want to feed your kids, the school you want your kids to go to, like even outside of kids, do y'all have the same love languages? Or if y'all don't, can y'all truly meet each other's needs? Because if not, y'all are not compatible. And the fourth and final component, which is the most important component, so I intentionally saved it for last, it's spiritual connection. And this is the number one thing that a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages don't have. And that's how you know God is not behind it. That's the most important one. And you might say, like, how do I know if I have a spiritual connection with this person? Number one, you, first of all, y'all both are going to have a deep love for God. Y'all are both going to have a deep love for God. And y'all will be able to sit in a room with no distractions, no TV, no music. Sit in a room for hours and talk about anything and everything. And you'll feel so comfortable. You'll feel so seen, as if you've known this person all your life. Even though you might have just met them, you'll feel like you've known this person all your life. Y'all can sit in a room for hours and just talk and lose track of time. You feel safe with this person, not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. You feel like you can be yourself unapologetically with no filter, and you don't feel any judgment from that person. And they feel all the same things about you. Feeling like when the person that you have a spiritual connection with, the person that God has for you, you're going to feel seen and you're going to feel heard. You're going to feel like this is the one person that truly sees me, other than God, other than Jesus. This is the one person that truly sees me and truly understands me and makes me feel like I'm not alone. Like I'm not doing this by myself. It's a lot of people that are in marriages that feel single, that feel alone, even though they sleeping beside somebody every single night. If that's how you feel with a person, that's not your person. That's not your person, sweetheart. That's not the person God has for you. And the reason why I know all these things, even though I'm not married yet, even though I don't got my ring yet, is because I've experienced everything that wasn't from God. So now I know the real from the fake. And even observing other people's relationships, even observing other people's marriages and seeing certain people get divorced. And even me just where I'm at mentally and spiritually, me seeking God every day, He gives me so much wisdom. So now I know what to look for. And like I've talked about this a lot, so y'all probably like, okay, we get it. But I've been abstinent for almost 3 years, abstinent and single. Haven't even went on a date. I haven't even entertained anybody. And the reason why is because I know too much now. I just know too much now. In the past, I was ignorant. I was naive. I didn't really know any better. I didn't really know what love was. And I wasn't really close to God. So that's the reason why I was always in a relationship. And a lot of times, they wouldn't even be relationships, they would be situationships. It would just be me sharing my body with, different dudes that I was talking to. And that's the reason why I've been single and abstinent for so long. It's simply because I know better. And like I said, I know God has a specific person for me. And I'm not settling until God puts that person in front of me. Until that time comes, it's just gonna be me. It's just gonna be me and God. It is what it is. And the same goes for you. God has a specific person for you. Don't settle. I know it's hard to wait. And I'm gonna be real. When you're waiting on the person God has for you, be prepared to wait longer than the average person. Because the average person is just going out and choosing somebody themselves. They not including God in the process. They just going out and picking the best candidate. When you're waiting on the person God has for you, it's going to take longer because what God has for you has to be prepared. You have to be prepared, and so does the other person. There are certain lessons you have to learn before you both come together. And I want to leave you guys with one last thing. One last thing. The one last thing that I want to leave you guys with. Oh, God gave me a sign the other day. One second. One second. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me do a little stretch. Ooh. Oh, that felt good. Okay. Stretch his arm. Ooh. Ooh, we don't want no accidents with these little tatas. Okay. One last thing I want to leave y'all with. God gave me a sign the other day. I was walking in a grocery store and I was just silently thinking to myself, am I being delusional? Am I crazy for really thinking God has a specific person for me? Maybe I should get on dating apps. Maybe I should put myself out there more. Maybe I should start giving people a chance that I normally wouldn't give a chance. I was just having all these thoughts like, am I crazy? Am I delusional? Like, is there even a such thing as the right person? And I kid you not, literally as I'm having these thoughts, I hear this woman walks by me and she's on the phone. And all I heard her say was, "Yeah, you want to marry the right person." Literally, as I'm having these thoughts, like, am I crazy? Is there really a specific person God has for me? Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe I need to like be a little more like literally as I'm having these thoughts, this random woman walks past me on the phone saying, "You want to marry the right person." That was a sign from God. That was God confirming to me, no, you're not crazy. Wait on the person I have for you. You're not crazy. There is a such thing as the one or as your soulmate. Like there is a such thing as you having a specific person, a right person. Because, like I said, just because somebody's a good person doesn't mean they're your person. That's a trap you have to be careful not to fall into because some people get tired of waiting. Some people get tired of waiting on God. And like I said, they just go out and pick the best candidate. But that's not really the person that speaks to their spirit. It's always going to feel like something is missing. And 9 times out of 10, it's the spiritual connection. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm not settling until I get that. I'm not settling because I've seen what God has done for others. I've listened to so many other people's testimonies and stories. And when you see certain people together, and even when you hear their story, if you're really a spiritual person, you know God put those two people together. God put those two people together. God orchestrated that. That was nothing but divine intervention. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I love y'all. Hopefully, I'll see y'all soon. Make sure you're subscribed. Oops, sorry. Make sure you're subscribed and please make sure you like the video. And yeah, bye.